Alright, everybody, so today I'm going to talk about one of those love it or hate it topics in personal development, and that is scheduling. Now, personally, my default is hate it. Right? I do not like scheduling. I like to be free flowing. I like to have as few things as possible to occupy my time and my mind. But here's the thing, as you improve your life, as you develop your life, and as you seek larger and larger goals, those goals are going to take more time to accomplish. As you incorporate more things in your life, you're going to have more to dos to do. One of the easiest ways to not get overwhelmed by that is by scheduling. But the other thing is, scheduling relieves a ton of stress, not just from trying to keep track of it in your mind, but it actually creates a greater sense of freedom. I was out hiking recently, and along my trip, I ran across the bane of summer hiking, stinging nettles. Now, they're exactly what they feel like. When you walk past them, you brush your leg or your arm or any body part against them, and they sting, they burn. It's very uncomfortable. And I went through miles of it. It was not a great time, but it could have been worse. Rather than having these patches of nettles, and yes, they were longer patches, right? I spent a good hour walking through primarily denser brush overgrowth along a ridgeline. And was it what I wanted? No. In fact, I thought I was going to get to a ridgeline and be an even nicer trail. Finally, I was like, oh, got to the high part. Now I get to kind of cruise, and that's what I got. Didn't love it. Had to get through it. But what I did get is miles of nicer trail, moving through the woods, better maintained trail. It was these sections that more people used. The sections where I got caught were in the sections in between where I was getting farther away from a road, farther away from where people typically went, because I was connecting sections of trail. What would have been worse is if I took those couple miles of stinging nettles, and imagine if they just kind of existed throughout the entire trail. So I spent the entire hike randomly dodging stinging nettle for every mile I went. Yeah, there may be little patches where there weren't, but next thing you know, boom, it gets me. Well, when you don't plan and you don't set a schedule for yourself, it's kind of what you do to yourself. Right? If you have something you don't want to do, it doesn't go away if you know you have to do it. If it's something you've committed you need to do, it's going to move you forward, but you're reluctant to do it, or you just know it's on your plate. If you don't schedule it, you have to keep it top of mind. You have to keep it in your head. And just like those stinging nettles, that means you don't really get a break from it. Whereas if you schedule it, just like that section of trail that I experienced, is it harder? Is it a little more uncomfortable? Yes. But if you plan it for that period. And the beautiful thing is, and the advantage that you had over me on this new trail, is when you plan things, they have a start and they have an end. Now, yes, does that mean that you maybe don't get everything done in the time that you need to? Maybe you need to extend it. Or better yet, depending on how your day looks, you schedule it for another time. What that gives you is, even though it's hard, you know there's an end. And as we all know, when there's an end in sight, it makes the difficult things easier. So while scheduling isn't fun, imagine the relief when you've done the thing, when you've committed the time. Think about how much better that's going to feel. Yes, you have to push. Yes, you have to stay focused. Yes, you may need to use willpower. But by scheduling, there's an end in sight. And not only that, but scheduling allows you to see what you're really doing. It allows you to take things out of your mind, because if you don't have to keep it on top of mind if it's written down. if you have an easy way to track it and all that you have to do is a reference. All these things open up a pathway for better well-being because you can also incorporate time to decompress. Time for family, time for fun. Whereas otherwise it's so easy to let an hour or two slip away without intention. And you end up not getting what you actually needed. You end up not getting the recovery or the experience that you wanted. It ends up coming, pardon my language, half-assed. Like, yay, who's done that? How many people have needed to sleep and they knew they needed to go to bed, but they didn't? They were like, oh, I'm just going to lay around and watch some more TV, or they were tired and that's what they did. They read a book, and yes, it's lower key, but you knew what you really needed to do. Right? You needed to actually close your eyes, take a nap, really recover, but instead you did something that low-key still drew your energy and focus and didn't let you recover the way you want to, and then what happens? Then you end up still tired, but now your time to actually rest is gone. So that's another reason that planning and structure can be helpful. And again, I don't like to schedule everything. Like if I schedule downtime, a lot of times my downtime will be vague. Now, if I really need rest and I know I need rest, I will schedule that. And yes, you can schedule your day that day based on how you're feeling and what you have, what tasking you have. But by scheduling it, getting a clear idea of how your day looks, just by that visual and physical breakdown, it's going to be more manageable. So regardless of how you feel about scheduling, if you're one of those people who love scheduling things, great, you're probably also super busy, and you already understand some of these concepts. Your brain just automatically likes structure and design. For those of us who don't, who like that freedom, understand that scheduling actually gives you more freedom and more peace of mind. It is going to allow you to actually incorporate more in your day and optimize your day so you can, over time, get more done and go further with less stress and more clarity. And that's really what us here at Mountain Wisdom believe in more. When we're talking about effort for a purpose, that's what we want. Our purpose is more joy, more fulfillment, and being able to go further with less burnout.